Woo! BRAP is back. Greatness is back. And when I say greatness, I'm not referring to PlayStation 5. I'm referring to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, also known as BRAP. What's up, everyone? I see Perk's in the live chat. What's up, Perk? Yeah, so wanted to do a quick BRAP rant and I don't know, just a lot of stuff on my mind right now. I wanted to kind of just get a lot of things off my chest and talk about I'm actually going to talk about sports, which I typically do not discuss on BRAP. Very rarely. I mean, we have discussed sports on BRAP, but I typically don't have a subject, a main topic as related to sports is what I'm trying to say. But sports, yeah, exactly. Big that reminds me of Mooch. Big shout out to Mooch. If you haven't checked out Friday's Crossfire, please check that out. It's always a good time. The show truly lives up to its name, Crossfire. So, hey, what's up, Ice Queen? Great to see you in the live chat. Please, everyone, I am going to drop the link in the live chat. Please go ahead, retweet on the Twitters. Let everyone know that we are live doing this impromptu BRAP rant at 3 p.m. on Sunday, this last day of January, the month of January 2021. And it's snowing here. So that's good stuff. Anyhow, it's enough of me ranting and just rambling on about absolutely nothing. Let's go ahead and let's do this. Why don't we go ahead and get the show started right now, officially? All right, we're back. It's great to be back on this Sunday afternoon. It's another BRAP rant. Perk's like, I love that song. I love it too, Perk. It's great. Actually, every time it comes on, I'm actually bobbing my head. All right. So, wanted to talk. So, got a couple topics today. So, you all have heard me be critical of the Xbox more recently, and I think rightfully so. It's okay to look. It's okay to criticize the things you enjoy or you love. It's okay. You're not a hater. Look, as long as you are providing some constructive criticism, and you're not saying Xbox sucks, or Xbox sucksers. Yeah, then if you're providing examples of why you don't agree with certain things, whatever the case is, doing so in a way that isn't. I guess disrespectful might be the word to use, but in a way that's just thoughtful, well thought out. Is probably what I'm trying to get at here. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So look, we've been critical of Microsoft, and so one of the things I'm going to do in this particular rant, I'm going to talk about just really, despite some of the challenges facing Xbox, the platform does have a huge upside, and I will tell you why. Plus, Detroit Lions made a huge trade. Gone is Matthew Stafford and arriving is Jared Goff. Who got the better end of the trade? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about sports. Let me talk about sports first. What's up, Juan Castillo? Juan, what are you, since you have a Rams avatar, Juan, what are your thoughts on the Jared Goff trade to Detroit? I gotta be honest with you. Shocked that this trade happened. Totally shocked. Didn't see this one coming. And I got to be honest with you. I actually thought that the Juan says horrible trade. I'm leaning towards that, by the way, Juan. And I don't know all the ends. I don't really follow the Rams, Juan. I don't understand. Maybe Jared Goff fell out of favor with the coaching staff. It could be maybe a cap related thing. He's got a big contract. Maybe they feel like they can't keep the nucleus of the team together. That gives them the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl with these big contracts. I think Aaron Donaldson has a huge contract. We know Jared Goff's got a pretty big contract as well. And so then how do you navigate that? Hold on a second, guys. Take a drink of water. Should have mentioned earlier before I started the show that I am broadcasting live from Planet Hoth. Yes, because that's what it looks like outside in my neck of the woods or my neighborhood right now. It's snowing a lot. So, so caught one of the Rams trade today, and I was just, again, shocked. Couldn't believe what I was like. I was like, this can't be right. Like, no, there's no way that Jared Goff, who is a younger quarterback than Matthew Stafford, is going to the Rams, and the Rams are just getting rid of their franchise quarterback. Like, what? He just took him to a Super Bowl like 2 years ago. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm just shocked by this. Yeah. So, and I was convinced because many of you for those who don't know, I live in the DMV, which is short for the District, Maryland, Virginia. So I live right outside Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, which is going through some interesting times right now. You all probably familiar with the riots or the insurrection, if you will, that happened at the Capitol building, which I've been to many times in my life. It's funny, when you live outside Washington, D.C., it's like the White House really isn't a big deal. The Capitol isn't a big deal. The Washington Monument isn't a big deal. The Lincoln Memorial isn't a big deal. Just because, DeFloyd, it's not known as Trump Town. He got kicked out. Hey, what's up, my man, Lemieux? Lemieux, you know what, Lemieux? If you can, you should join us, Lemieux. You should join us on this BRAP rant because we're talking about sports. And Lemieux, how about those Penguins, huh? They're looking good. Sarcasm, by the way. I'm not a Penguins fan. I can't stand the Penguins. Sid Crosby is he likes, you know what Sidney Crosby is? He's a flopper. He likes to flop on the ice, pretend that someone tripped him up, and cry to the ref that he got slashed or someone pushed him from behind. He's a crybaby, is what he is. Ice Queen says, I live in Blackpool, England, and it's cold and crap. Ugh, that sucks. Perk says, I just got the cold right now. No snow. Yeah, you're not missing. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to snow myself. So I'm inviting my good friend Lemieux here, but he won't join. I'm going to send him an invite here. Lemieux, you can check your DM. I know you won't join. I don't even know if I'm not even putting Lemieux up on Twitter. Shit. I don't remember Lemieux's Twitter handle. It's pretty sad. Lemieux, what is your Twitter handle, man? Is it Lemieux66? No, it's not. Yes, it is. All right. I'm going to send Lemieux an invite, and I guarantee you he doesn't join. D-Truth says, I resent that statement. I'm a Penguins fan, sir. Well, I'm sorry, D-Truth. It's just, look, let me tell you about those 3 Stanley Cups, Lemieux, or Brian, as I should call you, Brian. They cheated. They cheated to win those cups, and you know it's true. All right, Lemieux. Check your DM. You should seriously, Lemieux, you should hop on, man. For those who don't know, like Lemieux and I go back to the days of Xbox Live beta testers. That's how long I've known this guy for. Cryptopsy, if you look at the BRAP rant, sir, if you look at the title or the title of the rant, Xbox Series X has a huge upside. Matt Stafford traded the Rams. Those are the topics. Yeah. Brian says I'll join my OV jersey arrives. That's not happening, sir, because you're just going to burn the jersey anyway. But all right, so let's get back to this trade here. So I was thinking that the Washington football team would actually trade for Stafford, and apparently, according to NFL insiders, apparently the Washington football team, formerly known as the Washington Redskins, but now they're the Washington football team. They basically, according to insiders, offered a more aggressive trade package, but weren't able to complete the trade. And I thought, to me, Stafford made a lot of sense. I don't think that Washington can get Deshaun Watson. I think the asking price is going to be too high for that. I mean, think about this: the Rams traded 2 first-round picks, 20 not this year but next year and the year after, and a third-round pick this year. All right, so 2021 third-round pick, 2022, 2023 first-round picks for Matt Stafford. Wow. Now, I got to believe that Deshaun Watson, because of this trade, I got to believe that the trade package to make that happen is going to be absurd. Like, I don't think there's any way. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I don't know. Like what? Like, okay. So apparently, according to NFL insiders, it's basically a hold on a second, guys. So basically, according to NFL insiders, I'm trying to read this. Microsoft. Why am I thinking about Microsoft? Washington football team offered some, I think, 2 first-round picks and some significant pieces of their team. So I'm thinking like Montez Sweat was probably a part of that. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they offered the running back that they just drafted. I forget his name, who had a decent year but was injured, and like 2 first-round picks. I got to be honest. I don't know if that's going to get done. If that's going to be enough to get Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is much younger than Matthew Stafford. I think probably it definitely has more upside. Stafford's 32. He's going to be 33 this year, as a matter of fact. His birthday's on February the 7th, which is next week. But I got to be honest with you. If I'm thinking about who got the better end of this deal, I gotta say it's the Lions. I mean, think about they got Jared Goff. They got 2 first-round picks. The Lions did. Now, the Lions don't have a great history of bringing it all together, if you know what I mean. They've had a lot of I don't know, issues as a franchise, and I can kind of relate to that because the Washington football team has had issues. Although I do think with Ron Rivera on board, Washington probably has a good shot at making the playoffs again next year. Probably having a better record. I think obviously quarterback was the issue with that team, but they still went 7-9. Solid defense. I mean, just that front four is just phenomenal. You hate to lose Montez Sweat, but I think if Washington can get Deshaun Watson and Montez as part of that package, you said Montez, you're not going to find a Deshaun Watson caliber quarterback at the 19th pick this year. Presumably, you won't find one. Who knows? Sometimes you can find some solid quarterbacks that late in the draft, or in the first round. But we know tops of the class is what's his face out of Clemson? I can't remember his name now. Why can't I remember his name? I call him Sunshine. Trevor Lawrence, who looks the part, but we'll see. He's going to go number 1. He's going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But again, I got to say, I'm wondering if part of this trade is. I'm wondering if wow. I'm just trying to think of why. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out why would you get rid of Goff? Now, Goff uh was the first overall selection of the 2016 draft. The Rams won't make another first round pick until at least 2024. Um, I'm just I don't know. I'm just wondering why. And maybe it comes down to the cap thing, like okay, so Goff has a 4-year, $134 million extension with 110 million guaranteed. And you got this after leading the Rams to Super Bowl 53. And they lost that game 13-3 to the GOAT Tom Brady. And there has and part of it. I think part of the trade is, look, we know there's been some issues with Jared Goff and Sean McVay. Who McVay was an assistant at for the Washington football team. I should have done that out there. That happened. That rift started happening, I think, in 2020, the year the Rams fell, or I should say they had a 10-6 record. And if you look at like Jared Goff's, and part of the trade could be part of the issues. And I know McVay had issues with Goff's turnovers. And if you look at Goff's turnovers per the last 2 seasons, he's second in the NFL with 38 turnovers. And you should have also known something was up, though, when McVay opted to start undrafted free agent backup John Wolford in a wild card playoff game against the Seattle Seahawks. Despite and Goff did tell his coach, "Hey, I'll be ready to play." This is 12 days removed from he had surgery on his throwing hand thumb. Now Wolford got injured, was forced to leave. Goff came back in and actually helped them win. And it's just interesting. It just sounds like it just wasn't a fit between the two, the quarterback and the coach. But still, I gotta say, I don't know. I'm not a coach, but I'll say maybe you try to work those things out. Leadmaster 537 with the $5 super chat says, I could listen to your voice all night, Brap. What's your mic? Thank you for that. I use a Blue Yeti. That's what I use. Eddie says, or Goff. Yeah, it's just, this one's just wild. I mean, I again, shocked. I think at the end of the day, what's up, OBM? I think at the end of the day, OBM's a Lions fan. OBM, I think that the Lions got the better deal of the trade. This is big, man. The Lions may be Super Bowl bound in like 3 years. Look, if the Lions go to the Super Bowl one year with Jared Goff, everyone's gonna look back at this deal. The 2 draft picks, getting Jared Goff. And I know Matt Stafford has had some injury issues, and so how is that going to play out? Is he going to be able to stay healthy for the Rams? This is going to be very interesting, fascinating to see how this plays out. Big trade. All eyes on Deshaun Watson right now to see where he ends up. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot stand Dan Snyder. He's a terrible owner. Dan Snyder's just not a good person, I don't think, based on some of the stories we hear coming out of the Washington football team organization. But man, if they can get Deshaun Watson, I would say they are one of the favorites in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl immediately. I think Deshaun Watson makes them that much better, and he's 25. He's young. He doesn't have a big contract like Jared Goff. Rachel says, thank God, sports topics. Yes, sports. AC says it's the Lions. They've had good players before and haven't done anything. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I mean, they got to put it all together now. OBM agrees with me. He doesn't believe that. OBM, I'm telling you, the Lions are going to be Super Bowl bound in 3 years. You watch, mark my words. And actually, I'm going to say this, OBM, they will be in the playoffs next year. I'm going to throw that out there. AC says, I don't know, man. Stafford is better than Goff. I mean, right now, yes. I would agree with that. I think Goff, though, is younger and has a lot of upside. And I do think that, look, if he can get his turnover situation under wraps, like I said, Goff had 38 turnovers in the last 2 years, second in the NFL. He can get that a little bit under control. He's going to be a really good quarterback. Now the Lions will face the Rams next season at SoFi Stadium. That game's going to happen. By the way, guys, real so let me ask everyone in the live chat real quick. Who got the better end of the deal here? Was it the Detroit Lions or the Los Angeles Rams? I think you all know where I stand. I think it's Detroit. Let me know what everyone thinks in the live chat. Look, and I think we should all put this to rest. Tom Brady is the GOAT. Never really been a big New England Patriots fan. I know my man, that's my man, Gaming Forte's team, but they're not my team. I've never been a fan of New England Patriots. But Tom Brady, I mean, you cannot there's no question that Tom Brady's the GOAT. The guy in his first year in the NFC with a new team is going to the Super Bowl. And regardless, even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl against the very talented Kansas City Chiefs and Pat Mahomes, he's still the GOAT. I mean, this is just incredible. Incredible. I mean, he played at a very high level at the age of 43. I mean, he's got to be doing. I mean, what kind of juice is Tom Brady taking? That's what I want to know. At 43, to be playing at that high level in a very demanding game. Tom Brady, whatever supplements you're taking, you need to let the rest of us know. All right, AC says, I wanted my Niners to get Stafford because, Jimmy G can't stay healthy. Jimmy G might be gone, too. He might be leaving. But you see, we could see a reunion in New England for Jimmy G if he's let go by the San Francisco 49ers. And the 49ers are potentially a team that rumored to be in play for Deshaun Watson. God, if the 49ers go to Deshaun Watson, I just give him the Lombardi already at that point. But AC says, but the price paid was too much. Rams paid too much, in my opinion. I agree. I don't agree. You give 2 first-round picks for a 33-year-old quarterback. And not that Matt Stafford's not good, but you're also getting a younger first rounder who has previously taken his team to the Super Bowl. I mean, we could talk about Goff's turnover situation, but Goff has been able to play at a high level, has been able to win games for the Rams, and took them to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So, I mean, I think, and maybe that's, and maybe the GM for maybe the GM for the Lions felt like, you know what, this is going to be the asking price. This is what I'm going to ask I'm just going to put this out there, right? You start high and then you negotiate from that high point. Maybe he felt like, hey, I'm going to do that. But maybe the Rams are just so like, you know what? We're over it. We're just going to give the 2 first-round picks. The hell with it. I mean, this is a Brad Holmes. This is a huge move by Brad Holmes. But I don't think he's Stafford 2 first-round picks. I think you give I think you offer Jared Goff a first-round pick, a third, and a second, and that's it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting how this plays out. It really is. Yeah, I don't know. Look, OBM. I'm rooting for the Lions, man. I really am, and I'm kind of in that same boat as a Lions fan, being a Washington football fan. Because look, I mean, for those of you who don't know, both the Washington football team actually does not play in Washington D.C. They used to, but they moved to Maryland, where their stadium is Landover, where FedEx Field is, and a short drive up Interstate 95, probably about 40-minute drive from Landover to Baltimore North, is M&T Bank Stadium where the Ravens play. So Maryland has 2 professional football teams, and it's hard being a Washington football team. It makes it even harder when you have a terrible owner, but it's even harder. It's even worse on top of that when you have a team up north that's 40 minutes away that has won a Super Bowl more recently and has a winning program, unlike the Washington football team, because Dan Snyder can't stay the hell out of the way. Whatever needs to get involved. Terrible owner. Dan Snyder's bad for the Washington football team. Needs to go. I can't stand him. Can't stand him. Thank you, OBN. Appreciate it, man. So, anyhow, that's enough of the sports talk. Kendrick wants to know, is Washington going to get a real name? Who knows? I mean, they've a couple. So what happened was, so the U.S. Patent Office is in Alexandria, Virginia, which is probably about 25 minutes away from where the Washington football team plays football, right across the Potomac River. And apparently somebody decided to patent a bunch of names and owns a bunch of names that the Washington football team was considering switching to. So Dan Snyder would essentially have to probably pay this person, but the Warriors, the Red Tails have all been like linked to as new names. I don't see it happening. I think you should just call them the Senators or something, or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Washington football team's okay, I guess, for now. Racer wants to know, is football your favorite sport? Probably, yeah. Yeah, probably, man. Probably my favorite. I would say football, hockey, basketball, UFC, in that order. Yeah. But anyhow, all right. So let's get on to gaming. Look, you guys have many of you familiar faces here on BRAP know that here on BRAP we've been critical of Microsoft and the Xbox console. And yes, Racer, I'm a big hockey guy. The Caps are my team. Yeah, that's right. AC Caps. Big win last night. Ovi making his triumphant return, the game winner. I hope they win the cup this year. I really do, AC. Nothing was as well, the year they won the cup. They won the cup. This is going to be oh my god, it's going to be 3 years now. This summer will be 3 years ago that they won the cup. Yeah, look, it's going to be awesome. What was awesome about the 2018 run was that they actually beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. I actually went to one of the playoff games against Pittsburgh in DC, and I'll never forget. We were losing pretty bad, and we came back and won. It was great. I was hammered, having a good time. Sitting next to two fans that were from Pittsburgh, an older couple, very nice older couple. Smelled like a pack of Marlboro Reds, though. They really did. Every intermission, they going out for smoke breaks and came back just stinking up the joint, drinking vodka tonics. Good people, though. Really good people. They're a lot of fun. Anyhow, so again, if you listen to the show, we've been critical of Microsoft. I think there's obviously areas of improvement for them. The whole thing with messaging could be better, and the whole Xbox Live Gold fiasco, Halo Infinite fiasco. Jason Staten, by the way, is taking over creative director for Halo Infinite. So that's interesting. That happened this week. But I will say this. Look, despite the situation that Microsoft is in today, and look, they are in third place. Everyone knows that. Everyone, look, here's the thing. And I have this conversation a lot on the Twitters. It's like, I said this, like Nintendo. I mean, Microsoft just isn't, from a first party perspective or content perspective, quite on par with Sony and Nintendo yet. And somebody said to me, "Well, I don't like Sony games. I don't like Nintendo. I like Microsoft franchises or Xbox franchises." That's great. Put your personal preferences aside, and there's a consensus. And we have things. Look, whether or not you agree with game reviews or awards or industry recognition, those things matter. There are ways to gauge the quality of things, and you can sit there and say, "Well, just because a game got a 7 doesn't mean it's not good." No, that's not what it's about. It's about that 7 game is an average game. And 8's a good game, and 9's a great game, and a 10 is epic. And it's probably that's how it's been explained to me in the past from people that actually do reviews for a living. But we have these KPIs, we have these tangible things that measure the quality in the industry, like any other consumer product. It's interesting, like. Gaming seems to be the only platform where reviews don't matter. And I'm sure half the guys that say reviews don't matter when they're buying a TV on Best Buy are quick to read the user reviews or go to Consumer Reports or maybe go to ratings.com to read the reviews before they buy a TV. But for whatever reason, gaming is the only medium where reviews don't matter, apparently, for some people. Not all, for some people. They matter to me. Reviews have certainly. I've learned my lesson by ignoring reviews, in the sense that I've been burned by playing games that are 6 or 7s in the past, and I've also enjoyed some games that have been 7s. I've never enjoyed a game that's rated 6. That's never. I've certainly enjoyed some games that have been 7s. Actually, no, maybe I did enjoy a game that was a 6. Maybe Rise Son of Rome. I have to look that up on Metacritic. I did actually like Rise Son of Rome. Bought that at launch for the Xbox One. Not a great game, but I liked it because I like that time period. I like that Roman backdrop, and thought it was kind of interesting game, and it was kind of a cool just game to pick up and just play with quickly. It served its purpose for me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But look, we have these things. We have industry awards, and I say this, like, don't downplay a game that's rated a 9 or a 10 consistently. If you see a game like Metacritic, don't say Metacritic is biased, or I've seen that recently. Metacritic can't be biased because they're showing an aggregate of review scores. That doesn't make any sense. And there's always, and you can always count a Metacritic, by the way. There's one site that's always going to review bomb a game. Happens to every game. I saw somebody on the Twitter's post this about the Medium. This journalist doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know his job. He gave the Medium a 40. Okay. First of all, you're doing what that site wants you to do. You're giving them free press, right? Potentially giving them clicks. But this happens all the time. If you look at Concrete Genie that came out for the PlayStation 4, got one review site gave it a 50. I think with Death Stranding, a review site gave it a 40. But yeah, let's not downplay reviews, because the fact of the matter is, if you consider, think about this, take a step back with me, if you will. If you think about this for a second. Think about that. Everyone in this live chat right now, we all have different preferences. We all have different taste. Not all of us love McDonald's. Some of us fuck with Burger King. Why? I don't know why. Burger King's trash, in my opinion. Some of us like pizza. Some of us like pepperoni pizza. The point is we all have different tastes in music, art, whatever the case is. So think about this. You think about the millions and millions of people out there that have different taste. And if you think about that, and if think about these reviewers all have different tastes, these media sites that are doing reviews, the person that's doing the review may like certain things about a game, may not like, they have different tastes. They really do. But when you get a consensus amongst those that are reviewing games, where you get a consensus, a general consensus, I might add, not just with the people that are reviewing the game, but people that are playing the games, and then you get a consensus from those that make games, the industry, that a game is good. Don't downplay that. It is hard to get a general consensus that something's good amongst people that have different taste. Eddie, I'll get to your question in a second about MLB 21. Mogwai says, get the Wendy's bacon pub pretzel. Wendy's pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger. I have to try that out. It actually sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I do like Wendy's. Perk says, now I'm hungry. I don't know where you live, Perk. Maybe it's lunchtime. Maybe it's time for you to get lunch. So anyhow, look. So my thing is this. So don't downplay that. When you see a general consensus, and it's not just gaming. Like, look, the general consensus is that LG OLED TVs are the best TVs right now. Like, whether or not you like OLED, and I know people, I don't like OLED TVs because I prefer LED TVs that have, higher nits, and the HDR pops more. Right? That's a preference. But the general consensus is that LG makes the best TVs right now, and OLEDs. Like, that's the consensus. Same thing exists for gaming. The general consensus. Don't downplay it. Apparently, a lot of people in the live chat love the pretzel burgers from Wendy's. It's good to know. I mean, like, it's almost like gaming, and this is like the only industry we general consensus don't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't like it. It's great. You don't like it, but a general consensus, and that doesn't, just because you don't like something doesn't mean that general consensus is any less per se, or means nothing. You could say, I don't like that. That's not for me, but I recognize the fact that it's rated as the top such and such. Yeah, Kurtasi, LG came back hard with that OLED, 1300 nits, I think, the new OLED. So I saw this with the Medium where people are saying this, Um, look, and I'm talking about this because look, content is king. Content is the most important thing. Power means nothing. It really doesn't. Like power is just power. Like, look, content is always going to be king. Power is not the most important thing. And I would argue if power is important to you, you don't buy a console, buy a PC for real. And don't tell me, oh, it's expensive. Well, guess what? You buy a Series X, you want a Series X, it's going to cost you $500 because you want the power. And if you really want to take advantage of that 4K 120 megahertz support, if you don't have a TV that can do it, and if you do have a TV that can do that, you're going to pay at least $1,000. So at that point, you're at $1,500. $1,500 will get you a very nice PC, by the way. My point is that high-end gaming is expensive, regardless of whether or not it's on console or PC. Big shout out to my man, Slow-Mo, Black Slap, who mentioned that on BRAP one time. I love you, Slow-Mo. He's probably not even listening, but it's all good. Yeah, Cryptopsy, go do Stop the FOMO. Or was it Stop the FOMO, or maybe it was Stop the FOMO that talked about the 1300 nits, or maybe it was HGTV, that HGTV test. I think I forget the YouTube channel. What's up, Dark? Dark says I like the game. It's not a great game, but it's good. He's talking about the Medium HGTV test. Thank you, 8087. Maybe it was HGTV test that talked about it. One of those channels did, but I saw 1300 nits. I was like, what? That's fucking nice for an OLED. Shit. Oh, Eddie said, okay, so it's on both channels. Stop the FOMO. All right, so where was I? Now I forgot. Yeah, so content's king. I think everybody in the live chat would agree with that. But despite look, Microsoft is kind of an interesting place with Xbox. Like, I think Game Pass as a method of delivery is actually a good idea. The problem I've had with Game Pass is that there just hasn't been a lot of compelling content for me to play per se. Like I don't use Game Pass a lot. I really don't. I just actually used it for the first time in months for High Busters and Dragon Quest 11, which Dragon Quest is fucking awesome. Okay, Ixie Mixie, I gotta be honest with you. When I see people say Phil is king, I love him, it's a little weird. You don't know the guy. Let's not treat these corporate executives like demigods. Because they don't care about us. They care about our money. Yeah, Kurtatsi, I actually got I got the 65-inch Vizio Quantum P. One of the Quantum X was sold out, but got the Quantum P. HDR pops nicely. Ryan Landis says, Phil's the Xbox exclusive. I guess that's good for me. Oh, Ixie Mixie saying, I know, but so many say that. Yeah, they do. And I got to be honest with you, Ixie Mixie, that's a little weird. And look, and that goes across the board. If you're a Sony guy, if you're a Sony PlayStation diehard fan, whatever you want to call them, and you're saying, oh, I love Jim Ryan. Jim's great. Oh, that's Sean Layden. Yeah, weird. That's weird. Like, why? What are we doing here? Like, what? Why? These people don't care about us. They care about profits, care about money. All right. Well, I was going to say something else here, and I forgot. because I'm like doing 8 things at a time, one time right now. I'm reading like 4 different articles. Imagine that at one time. By the way, there is a rumor out there that that the Knights of the Old Republic series could get a nice like remake type situation, which is kind of cool because that's a great fucking franchise. Ice Dragon, I still have a Panasonic ST50 55-inch plasma, which is still it's like an 8, it's the TV's 8 years old now and looks for 1080p content, looks great. Chef's kiss. All right. So look, I mean, look, we all know Microsoft's documented problems with Xbox, but look, guys, the one thing, and there's usually 2 sides to a story per se. On the flip side, we have to acknowledge at least that Microsoft's invested a lot of money in studios to address the lack of first party, which we've talked about for years. They're finally doing that. We'll see if they can get it together. I think some of these studios are probably going to be better. The sales pitch that I'm hearing from Microsoft is, come with us, we'll give you resources, and we're not going to micromanage you. And I think that could, my opinion on that is that could potentially lead to some quality control issues. Maybe not for all studios, but maybe for some studios, right? I don't think you'll have that issue maybe with Bethesda. I would say that by 343, but I don't know anymore about them. I don't think you'll get that from Double Fine, Tim Schafer Studio, or In Exile, or Compulsion, or Obsidian. Those come off the top. Then obviously like Playground and whatnot, but I think maybe some others maybe. And it's got, yeah. So we got to see how this all comes together still. Like it's not a given. I always relate back to sports. You can have all the big free agent signings, but you know what? It's got to work. It's got to gel. It's got to be chemistry. But that being said, I am bullish. I do think that we're going to see some good games from them, the next coming years with these studio acquisitions. So, like today, we can sit there and say Xbox hasn't given us a reason really to buy Series X, and they haven't. But I will say this: they do have huge upside, and here's why. If Microsoft can start cranking out, Xbox Studios specifically can start cranking out these big AAA games, bangers as we call them, and they don't have to all be bangers, but some of them need to be, where they garner what we call that general consensus of greatness, where they're in the conversation of game of the year, game of the generation, where they have an impact in gaming culture. I mean, like Halo had these things. Some of you don't know the impact that Halo had in the gaming industry in 2001, but it had an impact in pop culture too, and gaming culture. And, we see that with Sony games, like you had Eddie Vedder playing, and obviously Joel in The Last of Us Part 2 is playing the Pearl Jam song, but Eddie Vedder actually played the song too live. There's a video, if you guys watch, where I forget the voice actress for Ellie, and the voice actor for Joel, I forget his name now. I don't know why I almost said Nolan North, but it's not him. It's the other guy who's like in every other game, and his name's escaping me right now. If someone in the live chat could please tell me who the voice actor for Joel is again, because I'm forgetting it. I know he's been in different games. He was in Death Stranding. Jesus, I can't remember his name. Is it Trevor something? Tyler? I almost said Tyler Durden, but that's not it. Anyhow, please, someone in the live chat help me. They got together and they played songs from The Last of Us. Ryan, who is it? Breaker. Trey Barker. Is it Troy Barker? Troy Baker. Shit, hold on. Now I gotta look. Troy Baker, thank you. Oh my God. We went from Troy to Trey. Troy Baker. and the voice actress for Ellie in The Last of Us. There's a video you guys can look up. They're at I think they're at a PlayStation event, fan event, and they're there playing music from The Last of Us, and you just see that, like, the fan reaction. They're singing along, they erupt in applause, and that's not from a game. That's not from the game. That's from the music that's in the game. So think about the impact that a game can have. Like Halo. When you first played Halo and you heard you heard the monks chanting. That chant was, you don't, outside of the game, playing the game, as a gamer, you remembered that. It was synonymous with Halo. It became ingrained in gaming culture. And Ryan Landis called him a tree barker. Yo, well played, Ryan. Well played, sir. And you look at like games like that, like you look back like Mario, right? Everyone remembers Mario. Right? What about Final Fantasy VII Air's theme song? Holy shit. That song resonates with me still. The Gears of War 2 song. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Hold on a sec here. Hold on. Mad World. You guys remember Mad World? For Gears 2? Come on. So, and even if like Death Stranding, you think about Death Stranding, like if you play that game, the songs that game had, and I probably remember the songs more than actual parts of the game, believe it or not. But I bring all this up because that's what I think Microsoft's been missing, like those games that just that really resonate outside of the hardcore gaming community, or really resonate outside of the Xbox community, outside that echo chamber, and resonate where amongst a general group of gamers that where it's just like, oh my God, like that song, that game. They haven't had that. And so the upside with them is if they get that, if Microsoft can get a game where they're in, I mean, look at Sony's record, look at Nintendo's record. They've had Game of the Year nominations last generation where Microsoft had none, from what I remember, at least. I don't think Microsoft did have any Game of the Year. And you could sit there and say, oh, well, the Game Awards are biased. No, they're not biased. They're voted on. Not by Jeff Keighley. But look at like games like Sony, God of War, The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Nintendo, Breath of the Wild. I mean, those games are they are going to be games, and not that we won't remember the smaller games, because many of us will, but they're going to be the games that people really remember, the iconic games of that generation that define that generation. And that's what Microsoft is lacking. And you may say, oh, it's not important, but it is important, because you are going to attract a wider audience. You are going to solidify that brand with quality and magnificent experiences. So the upside again is if they can nail this and they throw this in Game Pass, watch out. Now, you could debate whether you think Game Pass is good for the industry. I don't think Game Pass is bad for the industry. I think that there's some obvious challenges to Game Pass. One of them being that I think, and actually this was actually great comment by David Jaffe. I was watching his show the other day, and he brought up he's talking about the medium, and he said, I wonder if this game was really, I don't know if he said, was it quality tested, game tested? Was this game game tested enough? Because some of the execution of mechanics were kind of left him kind of questioning things. And he said, with Game Pass, the potential trouble is that because somebody has paid $1 or whatever to get in the service, or $15 a month if you're doing that right now, that a game really needs to capture you right away. And if it doesn't, it's easier for you to just put the control down because it's in Game Pass. The idea that I didn't pay $60 for it, it's free. Forte, what is up, dude? Wow, Forte said Stafford will win a Super Bowl with the Rams. Wouldn't surprise me. I still think Forte, the Lions got the better of the deal long term. Just my opinion. Miss you, Forte. All right. Somebody asked me a question earlier, and I just lost it. Hold on a sec here, guys. I'm trying to get some of these questions. Yeah, sorry. You know what? Somebody asked me a question specifically, and I can't find it. Hey, it's easier if I find it in color. That's Forte would say. We read things in color. Kia, so this is just a Keyup 901. What's up, Keyup? Says, let's face it, anything Microsoft does when it comes to gaming is under the microscope. They the good things are pretty much ignored or rarely talked about. You know what, man? I don't know if I don't know if I agree with that. I think certainly, I think the issue is that they they do something good and then they do something. They take here's the thing with Microsoft. I think they do good things, but they take 2 steps forward, only to take 3 steps back by doing something else that they shouldn't have done. That's the problem. I think that, look at Halo Infinite. I mean, like, they do something like Game Pass, which I think is visionary and great. But then it's like, oh, here's Halo Infinite. It's like, fuck, what's going on here? So like, what Jaffe's saying is, if, I'm paraphrasing, but really, the challenge is really that maintaining that engagement because, if you think about it, you're more likely invested in a game that you paid $70 or $60 or $40 for. You're more likely to stay with it because there's more of a monetary investment than, you pick it up in Game Pass. The idea of free is there. I mean, it's not free. I get that, but I hope that makes sense. But that's kind of what Jaffe was talking about with the meeting. But if you can create that engagement, if you can bring these bangers, as they call them, into Game Pass, watch out. That's the huge upside that I'm talking about for Xbox. I mean, I will say this. The one thing that we can say, despite whatever challenges that Microsoft has had or Xbox has had, and they've had plenty, they're not out of the woods yet. I don't think, in my opinion, they're not. They've made some really key investments for the future, and I'm excited to see how those things play out. I don't have much faith, though, to be honest with you. And I think just because, in my opinion, like I'm looking at my Series X, and it's just, it doesn't get much usage, and we still haven't seen anything that shows off that console per se, or why you should go out and buy that console for $500. It's more like a mid-gen upgrade of the Xbox One X is what it feels like, where you're playing just better versions of older games. And if that's your bag, that's great, but that's not. I'm not trying to spend $500 to play older games. But outside of that, again, I think if there's anything that we can kind of hang our hats on is the fact that there's a tremendous upside, again, for what I just mentioned. These studios deliver, and we get some really compelling content. I'm talking about bangers, and they don't have to be bangers, but I'm talking about the bangers right now. that, that had that impact that like Gears had on the 360, that Halo had on the OG Xbox, and they put that in Game Pass, that is going to be something formidable in the industry for sure. Think about that. Imagine, and I'm going to flip the script. Imagine if Sony with PlayStation Now, which PlayStation Now is actually a decent service if you haven't checked it out and you own a PlayStation. Imagine if Sony put all their first party games day and date in PlayStation Now. And PlayStation Now is $60 for a year. Imagine they say $60 a year, PlayStation Now, first party day and date. That would be massive. I mean, I can't even imagine that people wouldn't flock to that service. Imagine getting The Last of Us Part 2 in PlayStation Now, day and date. Ghost of Tsushima, day and date. So debt guy Smitty says, I'm still trying to power through Valhalla because I pay for it, even though it's gotten boring. I've been there. That's kind of my point. Now, debt guy Smitty, imagine if you just picked it up in Game Pass. Would you still be sticking with it? Oh, Eddie 87, you're being messy. It's a funny comment, but you're being messy. So that's kind of where those are my thoughts on Microsoft. I think tremendous. Yeah, see, that's that guy Smitty said, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, I hear you, man. Because you're not as invested in it. That might be like one of my concerns with Game Pass is that piece. Not that they aren't good games. Yeah, there's some really good games like Dragon Quest is there. Them getting the Yakuza series is awesome. That's just a huge get. So is actually Dragon Quest. But if Microsoft can really pull this off, yeah, the sky's the limit at this point. And I hope they do. I really do, because my point, my criticism of them comes from my experience with them when they were delivering freaking amazing content. And I know, like, my man OBM says, well, they invested, they're going to get there. They invested. That's true. They did, but been waiting a long time. So I know somebody could be like, why are you bitching, BRAP? You're always complaining about Xbox. Just don't buy the console then. Why are you don't pay me attention. Why are you bragging? Or why are you bragging? Why are you upset? I get that. But as selfishly as a gamer, I want to see all platforms do well, because that benefits me, benefits all of us as gamers. It does, so. Froggy says, why should you feel tied to a game just because you spent $60-$70 on it? It's more like feeling like you wasted money. Strange argument. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, you feel like you wasted money, but I mean, let's face it, like, you spend $60-$70, your level of engagement is probably going to be more because you spent money on it. Now, you may get to that point, Froggy, where you're like, I'm done, it's a waste of money. But certainly, like David Jaffe pointed out, if a game isn't engaging, and I've done this on Game Pass myself, actually. So it's funny, actually, now I think about what Jaffe said kind of resonate with me. I picked up games in Game Pass and played. I'm like, I'm done, and never go back to it. And I definitely have bought games where I'm like, I'm not sure about it. I don't want to play it, but I'm going to play it because I spent money. And then at some point, if I don't like it, I'm like, okay, I'm done. And usually if I bought it physical, I'm like, okay, I'm trading it in for GameStop, or at GameStop for credit. Yeah, like it's you're right. Like it like, so Ixie Mixie brings up a great point. It's like if you go to the movies or cinema, or you watch on Netflix, if you spent money to go to a movie theater, you're more than likely not going to walk out if you don't like the movie. With Netflix, you're just going to hit, okay, I'm done, I'm out, and never even think twice about it. That's actually a great analogy, Ixie Mixie. And again, this isn't to bash Game Pass. I know people are going to be like, why are you bashing Game Pass? Don't bash Game Pass. Big Game Pass is great. No, that's not what we're doing here. We're not bashing Game Pass. No one's saying Game Pass doesn't offer potentially offer great value for someone who's very interested in it. You know, and that's in that same issue. Is something that can happen on PlayStation now too. Same thing. That's going to be the challenge of these streaming services, I think. And maybe it's a situation where it's like, you know what? As long as we're offering, a high amount of content, that's all that matters. My concern with like subscription services though is that while I like Netflix, and I really have Netflix more for my family because my kids watch more Netflix than I do. I don't know if like with PlayStation Now and Series X, I just hope that there's enough good content in there for me to keep going back. And I don't want to see a situation where we get games that are average at best that might not benefit or hold my attention. They might someone else, but I'm talking about me personally. And I don't want to see a situation where it's like, oh, well, it's okay because that game was in PlayStation Now or that game was in Game Pass. Because I'm starting to see that a little bit. Keyup 901 with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Keyup. Says creating games take time. I give Microsoft 2022 and beyond to bring out compelling games. Hopefully, GTA 6. Can imagine the development time for that. Yeah, GTA 6 is it's been in development for a while. We still may not see that out for another couple of years, 2 years maybe. But yeah, no, you're right. It does take time. Absolutely. Excuse me. And that's why, kind of talk about the potential upside of Xbox as these games start coming out. So, sorry, guys, just reading the live chat here. Making sure I don't miss any other questions. Ken Charles, The Last of Us took the whole gen. It did. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 7 years, believe it or not. Oh my gosh. Well worth the wait. But in the meantime, Kendrick, Sony had bangers sprinkled in that 7-year plan. So that's the difference. Yeah, that's the guy Smitty says I bought Godfall at launch and I'm powering through that. If it was a PS Now game, I probably would be disappointed. Yeah. Well, probably wouldn't be as disappointed. Yeah, you probably wouldn't because there was no really big investment for you up front. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to wrap up this BRAP rant. I just want to say that certainly appreciate everyone coming through. Appreciate the time as always. Really appreciate the support. We had close to 70 people watching. So, I love doing this. I love doing BRAP because it's just really an opportunity for me to just really engage other gamers. I mean, that's it. That's really why I do it. Just to talk video games. Because shit, I've been playing video games a long time. I've been playing video games since I was 4. I've been doing this for like, oh my God, 40 years I've been playing video games. I'm old. It's funny. I'm playing. I decided to pick up Call of Duty Cold War for some reason. I don't know, like just something about that game. And so I play Warzone and picked up the last Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which I thought was pretty good. Kind of like the premise of the Cold War because I lived through the Cold War. I do remember the Cold War, Ronald Reagan, Mikhail Gorbachev. I remember all that shit. Being scared of nuclear wars, stuff like that. I remember all that growing up. So that the backdrop of that game kind of appealed to me in that regard, but from a historical perspective. But I gotta say, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this game. I'm enjoying it. And I picked it up on PlayStation 5. I was debating, do I get it on my PC? And I kind of want to get it on my PC for the ray tracing and stuff in higher frames. But PlayStation 5 has that game, Cold War, actually supports the PlayStation 5 DualSense, with the haptic feedback controls. And I got to say, wow. I mean, it just adds to the immersion of the game, and I'm really enjoying it. So, I'm playing that right now, and then I'm going to be playing the medium. I'm going to give that a run. I know my man Eric Jackson is playing the medium right now, and he seems to be enjoying it so far. I did say he feels like the movement, the character movement's not really that good. Is what he's saying. Tank controls, as he described it, but I think he's enjoying it. But anyhow, yeah, gaming a long time. So when I was playing Cold War, you go into a level where there's like an arcade at this Russian base, and you see Pitfall by Activision, which was a game on the Atari 2600. And I had to take a picture of it, and I tweeted it because it just brought me back to my childhood. Pitfall was one of my favorite games on the Atari 2600. It was beast. And it's funny going back and like there's an arcade game you can play. I forget the name of it. In one of the stores in Call of Duty Cold War. That's an old Activision game, and you play it, and it has like the old Atari 2600 graphics, and it's like, wow, just seeing that and then seeing what gaming is, it's like it's amazing. It really is. Like the last 40 years in the gaming industry, and it's amazing to see how the industry has evolved and how real games have become. I mean, it's crazy. They say, art imitates life. That's gaming now. Just wild. Just wild to think about it. But anyhow, want to thank everyone in the live chat. Thank you everyone for the super chats. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you're notified when we go live. And we'll be back this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time for our regular scheduled BRAP. Still working on a guest. We're going to have a guest on. Don't know who's going to be yet. But we should have another guest on. If you didn't catch this last week's BRAP, please check it out. We had Jay Barry and Optimus Code on. We were talking about the medium and some other gaming related topics. So definitely check out this week's show. But other than that, everyone, again, thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Go play some video games. And more importantly, have fun doing so. I am out.